Hello everyone. This video would focus on cosine law or the law of cosines, and this is the first part. In this part, we are going to solve for the missing side of a triangle. Before we go over these two examples that we have right here, let's have the definition of the cosine law or the law of cosines. Please remember that cosine law, or otherwise called as the law of cosine, states that the square of a side of a plane triangle equals the sum of the squares of the remaining sides minus twice the product of those sides and the cosine of the angle between them. Looking at this triangle that we have right here, we have A, B, and C in big letters. They represent the angle, while the small letters A, B, and C represents the sides. Please remember that these letters A, B, and C here are variables. This means that in some pictures, it doesn't have to be A, B, and C. It can be any letter in the alphabet. But what we remember is the main concept of cosine law or the law of cosines, which states that if we get this square of this side right here, so I'm going to have a squared that is actually equal to the sum of the squares of the remaining sides. So we got the a squared, so we are going to add the square of the remaining sides. So that would be b squared plus c squared. The cosine law further states that we're supposed to minus twice the product of these sides. We're going to minus twice the product of these two. So that would be 2bc times cosine of the angle between them. So that's going to be cosine of the angle between these two is angle A, or pretty much that is the angle that is across the side A. So this is how we solve for A. Now we can also determine the formula for B squared. Looking at this, we always remember that we're supposed to equal this to the sum of the squares of the remaining sides. So the other remaining sides, if we are using this, so the remaining sides are A and C. So we can go ahead and say that's A squared plus C squared. And that's a minus 2 of the product of these two. So that's going to be AC times cosine of the angle between them, which is B, or which is the angle opposite of the side. And so we can go ahead and say that C squared, therefore, is actually that's gonna be A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of angle C. This is what we actually call as the cosine law, or the law of cosines. Please remember that these letters are variables, which means that in some triangles, it doesn't have to be A, B, and C. It can be any letter in the alphabet. Okay, going back to the examples right here, we remember that before solving problems involving cosine and sine law, we remember that our calculator should be set up in degrees. So if we're using the blue calculator, what are we going to do to check if it's in degree is that we hit this DRG button right here, and the degree should be the one that is highlighted. If you are using the yellow calculator or TI-84, to make sure that it is in degree, we hit the mode and it should show up that the degree is highlighted. If the degree is not highlighted, make sure that you reset the calculator you have so you can get the correct answer. Okay, going back to the examples right here, let's take the first one here. We're supposed to solve for side TP. So what are we going to do is we're going to write TP squared, so that is the missing side, and that is equal to, remember for the cosine law, we're supposed to write the sum of the squares of the remaining sides. So the other sides are 19 and 17, so I'm going to take the sum of it and square it. So that's 19 squared plus 17 squared, and then after that we minus 2 times the product of these two. So it's going to be 19 times 17. and that is multiplied by cosine of the angle across from TP, which is 85. So I'm going to write cosine of 85. So that from here, we can go ahead and simplify this 19 and 17 squared. So this would come out 361 plus 289 minus multiplying these three together, 2 times 19 times 17 will give us 646, and then that's cosine of 85. So that we can go ahead and add these two together. This would come out 650 minus 646. Again, this is times. You're going to multiply them. So 646 times cosine of 85 is 56.30. So that we can go ahead and subtract these two together. This would come out, that's going to be 593.7. Now, this is TP squared. So that we can solve for just TP, we are going to square root both sides. So this will give us just TP. So the length of TP is actually 24.37. So this is the length of side TP using the cosine law. At this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so we're gonna go over the problem here. So we are supposed to solve for x, which is across from 49 degrees. So again, we can go ahead and set up the equation for this. So that would be x squared is equal to the sum of the squares of the remaining sides, which would be 37 and 15. So that is 37 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times the product of these two. So that would be 37 times 15, and that is cosine of the angle across from it or in between these two sides. So that would be cosine of 49 degrees. So that we can go ahead and simplify these two together as well as this one right here. This would come out, that's going to be 37 squared is 1,369 plus 225. And then when we multiply all these three together, so that would be 2 times 37 times 15 times cosine 49. That would give us 728.23. And so we are going to add these two together. So this would come out 1,594 minus 728.23. This will give us 865.77. Again, this is x squared. We're supposed to solve for x. So what are we going to do is we square root both sides. We can cross out the square and square root so that we are left with just x. And if we square root this, this would give us 29.42. This is the length of side x in this triangle. Did you get the same answer as this? Good. Perfect. If you find this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more math videos. See ya!